Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Life with Spike. We're going to build ourselves a ceiling to wall pantry slash cabinet slash dresser slash electronics cabinet slash diesel heater compartment and all the above. So I'm not exactly sure where to get started because I just kind of I don't really want to build this outside, but I kind of want to build the wheel well first. So we'll tack out the wheel well first, and then we'll move on to building the actual compartments, containers, cabinets, and I've also got to build a platform out the side door there that can hold a lot of water. Whether I'm going to do two blue stack blueies on top of each other, I don't know yet. I might just consider one, because one will last me just about a week. If I am out in the bush for more than a week, I'll have a trailer with me, most likely, because I'll be bringing along firewood, propane, fire pit, fishing gear, fishing, all that fun stuff, including my boat. So I can always bring an extra bluey or 22 liters or 5-gallon jug of water in the trailer. So I don't need a lot of water storage here because I can use it for things like a small propane stove that I can set up on a picnic table, my shower stuff, my bath stuff. I still have my portable shower. So I still need some compartments for some utility stuff. So I've got to build quite a few compartments over here because this is quite complex. Compartment over here, so I've got to measure that all out, figure that all out. So I'm gonna do exactly. So I've got to mount a board up here so that when I put the plywood up, it screws to here. Obviously I'll have supports in between, but I've got to figure out where the supports are so I can make a door fits inside in between each one. And then I've got to put a shelf in here, a shelf in here. Okay, I've got this. So I'm going to take a bunch of measurements, figure that out, and mark out where I want everything, and we'll get back to you when I start cutting some wood.
So I ended up using a combination of a right-angled square, a T drywall square, and a straight edge 1x4 to get the marks on the ceiling.
Okay, now that I have all my measurements and blueprints of where I want to actually place things, I got all that figured out. We're going to take it one step at a time. Now first, I'd like to get that wheel well buttoned down and out of the way. So let's get started. Let's get into it. It's like you always wanna hold you with me. God, don't be naive. All right. So far we've got the wheel well boxed out. This is the way I prefer to do it. The other way was completely a mess, but this looks good. This is solid. I'm gonna go water seal this, and we'll move on to the next step. And this is my pipe. Once it's fully wrapped, it will fit perfectly in here. And then later on, I'll come in probably with a 1x2 and mount it against here like that. We'll put a piece of plywood across here because I'm gonna have a compartment in here that I can reach down and shove things into, and tools or containers of whatever, and it'll be safe from the heat. It won't get damaged, or the heat won't damage my clothes or bedding or sheets or anything that I want to store down in this compartment. I don't want a bunch of sawdust in my clothes, or my bedding and stuff like that. So we'll make sure it's nice and cleaned up. We'll have to build a little box around this, figure this out. That's a future thing, or a little bit later in this episode part. So once that's done, sealed, we'll install it, insulate it, and then put some plywood on top, which will be the same as this, water sealed, both sides, not varathaned like this, like the roof or this wall over here. I honestly have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just winging it. I'm just throwing pieces wherever they fit, screwing them in and calling them good enough. So let's move on to the next part. All right, guys, this is the first piece going into my van for this cabinet. I cut it a little big because I wanted it to jam up in here because this screw didn't really catch on anything. And I'm not taking the whole ceiling apart, just to fix one T-nut pronged nut that slid in there. I can't seem to grab it very well. Or I used it as a drill and made a big hole. I don't care. Just want to slide this bad boy in place. Square is it? Not too bad. Oh, it's a little twisted. Okay, so we're gonna throw a couple screws in it, and then we'll just keep going. But I'm gonna put you guys on the timeline.
Once I finished installing the studs to my cabinet, I moved on to the wheel well and got that all installed, and then I moved on to getting some plywood cut up and ready to go so that we can install them later when they're dry, after we put a coat of water seal on it. And then after dinner we worked on the shelves, and then installing the plywood, and then later on insulating, and then putting the cap on top.
All right, so I'm gonna call it for tonight. I got as far as I could, but I feel like I'm just bugging the neighbors because it's getting close to 8 p.m. and working at this for like 10 hours or something like that. So, yeah, but we did get quite a bit done. We got a 2x3 mounted to the roof. We got a basic tic-tac-toe structure going on here. And now I'm just building my shelves. We'll slide in some plywood, screw it down. Hopefully slide in another piece of plywood, screw it down. And hopefully everything goes together nicely, crossing my fingers. Once I get the shelves in, I can put the vertical walls in to separate each compartment. And then I've also got to figure out how to build a platform that my water can sit on, that's not just gonna bend and flop over, but I got a few ideas. We'll see if it works. And then we'll build our little countertop here. I unexpectedly built another countertop back there, which is going to be above the diesel heater. It's not going to be much. I might just put like a little a box around it, so if I do put a few things in there, it's not just going to roll off. If I do leave it back there, we'll see. But got a few ideas going on. I wasn't sure how I was going to mount the tank, so now I've got 2x2s that are in the perfect location for the screws to go into, and the hole to fill the diesel tank doesn't interfere with the rear door. So that's awesome because it's so close to the edge of the back of the van that if I spill any diesel, it's not going to, get the entire house soaking wet with diesel. So we can figure out a few ways that we can minimize having diesel contact the back of the van back there. So that's awesome. That's a bonus. So far, everything's doing good. I've got the wheel well all boxed out. It's insulated. Yesterday, I mounted the front ceiling panel and got that all cleaned up, sanded down, stained, and varathaned. And then I got the last two lights installed. And the bolts came in today from the mail. I accidentally ordered the wrong stuff. That's okay. We've got my fuse block. That's for the engine bay. We got some 10 gauge flexible solar cable. Got my new bolts for the roof, so we'll get all the last screws buttoned up. We got more lugs so we can finish off our electrical. We've got the fuse, the 2 fuses that I needed for the inverter and the fuse panel. And then we got some spare fuses just in case we blow them. And then I accidentally ordered the wrong stuff. So I might have to return this, or I might just keep it because I can upgrade my electrical trolling motor with longer cables so that I could put a battery in a better spot in the boat. I also mounted the heat duct for the diesel heaters. All we have to do is plumb some fuel line and install the fuel tank. The diesel heater is set up and ready to go. I could literally just throw a battery in here, hook it up to a battery and start it up. It should prime and good to go. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys liked what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode, and we'll get started on getting the walls and stuff installed on here, the walls and the shelves. All right, peace out, guys.